everyone, it's Maki. Here are the main mobile suits that appear in Hathaway's Flash: the Gundam and the Penelope. These two mobile suits are known as 5th generation mobile suits. So, what exactly is a 5th generation mobile suit? Which mobile suits are included in this classification? Today, we are going to take a closer look at them. Don't worry! I won't discuss any spoilers related to Hathaway's Flash. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you can watch this program without worry. If you'd like, please consider joining my 99¢ per month membership to support my channel. As a thank you, you'll receive a name badge and special comment stamps. Now, let's begin our research. As the name suggests, 5th generation mobile suits are mobile suits that have reached the 5th stage of technological advancement. Let's briefly review the previous generations. The first generation consists of the first mobile suits to be put into practical use. The Zaku, operated by the Zeon forces, is probably the most famous example. Next is the second generation. One of its defining features is the use of a new metal called Gundam Gamma. Compared to the first generation, their performance improved dramatically in terms of weight and durability. Depending on the reference materials, some sources describe additional conditions that define a second generation mobile suit. For example, one condition is the introduction of a structural frame, known as the movable frame. Another is a cockpit design with a full panoramic monitor system and a new cockpit structure called the linear seat. The linear seat helps protect the pilot from shock and stress caused by acceleration. Fans often debate this and other similar questions. If the Rick Diaz does not have a movable frame, can it really be considered a second generation mobile suit? On the other hand, the Gundam Mark II uses a movable frame. Yet it does not use Gundam Gamma. Is it still fair to call it second generation? The third generation follows. This classification includes mobile suits equipped with transformation mechanisms. This means the Zeta Gundam is considered a third generation mobile suit. Then, there is the fourth generation. This group includes high-performance, multi-purpose mobile suits equipped with separation and combination systems, as well as high-output weaponry. The Double Zeta Gundam is a fourth-generation mobile suit. Finally, the 5th generation includes the Gundam and the Penelope. Compared to previous mobile suits, 5th generation units are capable of delivering overwhelmingly superior performance. So, what are the defining features of 5th generation mobile suits? As you saw in Hathaway's Flash, they have many unique characteristics. The most notable feature is the adoption of the Minovsky Flight system. This term was coined during the production of the Hathaway's Flash movie. In older materials, it is sometimes referred to as the Minovsky craft. The Minovsky craft technology uses Minovsky particles to levitate objects into the air. It was installed on the battleship White Base. However, the device itself had the major drawback of being extremely large. Initially, it could only be installed on large weapons, such as battleships. With technological progress, however, the device was successfully miniaturized to the point where it could be mounted on the mobile suit. This led to the creation of mobile suits equipped with the Minovsky Flight system. Two examples are the Gundam and the Penelope. Unlike third-generation mobile suits, which fly by transforming to alter their thrusters and aerodynamic characteristics, these units use an entirely different method of flight. The Minovsky Flight system achieves levitation, so this unit's propulsion consumption rate is remarkably superior compared to older mobile suits. Remarkably, the She Gundam can fly at Mach 2. Older mobile suits simply cannot compete. Let me share a small side note that drifts slightly away from the main topic. Some older materials even describe the battleship White Base as being able to fly at Mach 12. This was published by a company called Kodansha. It was released in 1982. Therefore, it is reasonable to assume that it was not produced with the same level of strict setting analysis that we expect today. Nevertheless, the idea of White Base flying at 6 times the speed of the She Gundam is amusing. Now let's take a look at the 5th generation mobile suits. The She Gundam and the Penelope, which we've already discussed, are 2 examples of 5th generation mobile suits. These 2 are often considered the symbols of the 5th generation. Though not very well known, there are other mobile suits classified as 5th generation. One that has gained some recognition is the Zorin Soul. It appears in Gaia Gear, a story set in the distant future of the Universal Century. The author is Yoshiyuki Tomino. However, at the time this program was produced, the story was not included in Sunrise's official Universal Century timeline. Because of this, fans are divided on whether the Zorin Soul should be considered part of the 5th generation. It is a mobile suit developed by Anaheim Electronics in Universal Century 110. It is later readjusted and brought into action in the world of Gaia Gear, set roughly 100 years in the future. Next is the Gundam F-89. It first appeared in the Crossbone Gundam series. It also appears in Fastest Formula, a story centered on the Gundam F-90. In the story, the pilot Gideon refers to the F-89 as the 5th generation. During a battle in space, the F-89 is forced toward Earth by an enemy attack. However, it breaks free from Earth's gravity and returns to combat in space. The phrase breaking free from gravity is open to interpretation. One interpretation is that the unit descended to an altitude from which a normal mobile suit could not escape, yet still managed to return to space. This interpretation strongly suggests that the F-89 was equipped with a Minovsky Flight system, which allowed it to generate propulsion beyond what conventional thrusters allow. Whether the F-89 actually carries a Minovsky Flight system remains unclear. There is no such description in the latest official setting materials. However, considering Gideon's statement, it is possible that it does. Gideon is skilled enough to be entrusted with piloting the F-89, the latest mobile suit at the time of its completion. It's difficult to believe that he would misunderstand the specifications of his own mobile suit. And now, Gundam. You might be wondering about something. Isn't Gundam a first-generation mobile suit? More precisely, I'm referring to the ROX-78F00. This is the model of the life-sized Gundam statue. In the far future of the Universal Century, a large number of ROX-78 parts are discovered near the Gundam factory in Yokohama. The parts are studied and missing components are developed, resulting in the completion of the F-00 Gundam. To build excitement for the first Hathaway's Flash movie, a real-world event was held. During the event, the Gundam was equipped with a Minovsky Flight system for testing. Thus, this Gundam is said to carry a Minovsky Flight system. Since this was created for a real-world event, opinions are divided on whether the F-00 Gundam should be included in official Universal Century history. Finally, let's discuss the mobile suits of the Crossbone Vanguard. This is another topic that sparks debate. They are often classified as second phase mobile suits. After the fifth generation of mobile suits was completed, development technology entered a period of stagnation. However, dramatic leaps forward in mobile suit performance were made with the introduction of new technologies. The units created using these new technologies came to be called the second phase. The mobile suits that came before them are referred to as first phase mobile suits. This means that the first through fifth generations of mobile suits are internal classifications within the first phase. Interestingly, the mobile suits of the Crossbone Vanguard and the Victory Gundam era are classified as fifth generation mobile suits in a reference collection called Fact File. However, this classification requires caution. The text in that book is presented as if it were written in Universal Century 156 by a person named Michael Stepmeyer. It is unclear what kind of individual Michael is. One reasonable interpretation is that he is a historian researching mobile suit technology. That concludes our research on 5th generation mobile suits. Alf and only the She Gundam and the Penelope are classified as 5th generation. Depending on the interpretation, however, it's fascinating that a wide variety of mobile suits could be included. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. I'll see you in the next episode.